Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes and instead drafted Mitchell Trubisky. Doug Gottlieb went at John Feinstein. And the next thing you know, Deshaun Watson joined the fray, tweeting out, "The Bears never once talked to me." He retweeted Gottlieb's tweet and then said, "The Bears never once talked to me." Well, now we've discovered that back during the draft time, Deshaun said the Bears did talk to him. There was one of the teams that had shown a lot of interest in him, and there were reports at that time that during the combine they talked to him and had an interview. There were reports. Anyway, the question is this a bad look? Has Deshaun Watson been caught fudging the truth?
It is a bad look, and maybe not for the most obvious reason. Like, I think there are two questions posed that we're trying to figure out. Is this a football lie, or did he get caught up in the clout-chasing algorithm, which is basically the hottest topic, usually with an ism, racism or something like that, or somebody who has a big name, you attach to it, you jump on that wave, and you got caught out there in this situation. I think in this situation, he looks bad because he told a football lie. Now, what's happening right now in real time is the fact that he's trying to protect those, including himself, who have benefited from this same football lie. So in full disclosure, I talked to his agent this morning, David Mulugeta. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right, but we talked about this situation, and what he remembers is what Deshaun remembers, that they didn't talk to the Chicago Bears explicitly. But what's happening with a lot of the top picks, and LeVar should certainly speak to this more so than even myself, is that they get into that strategy of marketing and making themselves sound more attractive to the teams around there. So there are players that I've heard that say, the teams that are drafted in front of me, I'm going to say I'm talking to those teams so that I could create some kind of noise around my name and hopefully I benefit. So I think right now what you're seeing is the conflict of him trying to tell his truth over actually violating the code of which these top draft prospects go out there and try to sell.
You know, what's interesting is it's a code that he's trying not to violate, but I'm going to put it in plain terms for all of us to understand. We've been in school before, all right? There was a dance. You asked this person to the dance. You asked that person to the dance. For some reason, you didn't get picked by that person to go to the dance. You wanted to go to the dance with them, but you ended up going to the dance with this person, right? So all these years later, no, it's not a bad look on Deshaun. You know what? You want to know what it is? Is that he's standing there with the person I chose to go to the dance with him. I'm not going to look at the person I'm at the dance with and look at the person that didn't take me to the dance, didn't choose me to go to the dance, and be like, oh, yeah, they was hollering at me. They wanted to go to the dance. We were supposed to go together, but something came up, so I ended up going with this other person, right? Nah. True to the game, Deshaun Watson is, in this situation, by not sitting there dragging somebody who didn't want to go to the dance with him into the conversation.
Well, I'm going to make a journalism analogy. I asked every newspaper in the country to take me to the dance. Every news begged. And there were some that ridiculed me in terms, and I'm talking about in 1990, 1991, 92, 93, 94, begged. Someone at the Washington Post in like 1993, 94, how dare you even apply? Wrote me a letter. Basically, how dare you even apply for a job here? You're not remotely qualified. I had someone, I was a black woman, by the way. I had someone at the Indianapolis Star, my hometown paper, white guy, wrote me back a letter mocking me for applying for a job at the Indianapolis Star. I could roll over, oh my God, I'm a victim, it was racism and blah, blah, blah. Instead, it wasn't nothing but fuel for me. And so I look back, and for a long time, I carried that letter from the Washington Post. I carried the letter from the Indianapolis Star. And when I started putting in work and making all of them look like clowns, it didn't do anything but make me feel better. In the NFL, they make mistakes at quarterback, offensive tackle, right guard, left guard, defensive end. The draft is an inexact science. Jamarcus Russell went #1 overall. It was a stupid decision by the Oakland Raiders. It wasn't fueled by racism. The Bears made a dumb decision. Somebody fell in love with Mitchell Trubisky. Deshaun, don't in any way feed into you're some sort of victim. Go put that work in and put clown suits on everybody that passed over you in the draft. Let that be fuel for you rather than you want anybody to feel sympathetic or vilify the people in Chicago that just made a dumb decision. We all make dumb decisions. I'm sitting here thinking about all the dumb decisions I made. My best friend talked me up out of the best relationship I ever had. It was one of the dumbest decisions of my life, and it was no substance to it at all, the decision. It was all about the size of the rear end. I'm not joking. And people do dumb things. The Bears did something dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think why I say he looks bad is because what he took on as bait actually became bigger than he expected. Whether he took the race baiting of this conversation and said something that towards he was a victim in this situation, basically saying they never talked. If I really double down on the truth, I'm going to violate the code, which affects more than just me. So let me just jump on this grenade. I think that's how we got to this place. When you're talking about your example, Jason, you're right. Like, no matter what you're thinking about, the greatest revenge is success. So I don't care what color, what complexion, what flavor it is. You go out there and win. We've all been there. LeVar's example, a lot of people turned me down for the dance. A lot of girls until I got drafted. And then I was turning them down for the dance because the tables done flipped, you know. Now how does it feel when the rabbit got the gun, basically? So we all know that. So Deshaun hopefully can protect his name and protect others, which is going to be difficult to do in this situation.
Again, I think I think he showed levels to it. He took a shot at Chicago. Like, they didn't talk to me, meaning that look at the career I'm having right now. I think the only reason why it could be considered a bad look off of what you guys are giving as reasoning, which is sound to me, is that he even responded in the first place. But if you were going to respond because they're talking about you and putting you in a tweet and we're in a pandemic and you had a little bit of time on your hands, you know what? I ended up getting picked to go to the dance with a better looking chick than the one that passed up on me. So you know what? You never said anything to me. I don't know anything about it. I feel like that's his approach.